ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna everyone. I welcome everyone to the final session of our series on the Gajendra Stuti. This is session 35 and today we will be discussing text 27, 28 and 29, the last three verses of this set of prayers of the 8th canto, the celebrated prayers of Gajendra at the power of using the power of devotion and the words articulated with so much emotion and philosophical depth. The Supreme Lord appeared to personally intervene in the situation of Gajendra's predicament, and the Supreme Lord accepted Gajendra as one of his eternal associates. So it is described by chanting the Stuti, we will attain the same destination as that of Gajendra. We will receive the shelter of the Supreme Lord, and we can accept the supreme auspicious privilege of rendering service in a spiritual form. So I request all the devotees to kindly open up text 27 onwards of chapter 3, text canto 8, 8:3:27 onwards. Yogarandhita karmano ridhi yoga vibhavite yogino yam prapashyanti yogesham tam natosmyaham. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, the Super Soul, the Master of all mystic yoga, who is seen in the core of the heart by perfect mystics when they are completely purified and freed from the reactions of fruitive activity by practicing bhakti yoga. Purport by Prabhupada. The king of the elephants, Gajendra, simply accepted that there must be someone who has created this cosmic manifestation and has supplied its ingredients. This should be admitted by everyone, even the most determined atheists. Why then do the non-devotees and atheists not admit this? The reason is that they are polluted by the reactions of their fruitive activities. One must be freed from all the dirt accumulated within the heart due to fruitive activities performed one after another. One must wash off this dirt by practicing bhakti yoga. Yoga randhita karmanaha. As long as one is covered by material nature's modes of ignorance and passion, there is no possibility of understanding the Supreme Lord. Tada rajastamo bhavaha kamalobhadayaschaye. When one is freed from the modes of ignorance and passion, one becomes free from the lowest qualities, kama and lobha, lust and greed. Nowadays, there are so many yoga schools encouraging people developing their lusty desire and greed through the practice of yoga. People are therefore very much fond of so-called yogic practice. The actual practice of yoga, however, is described here As authoritatively stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dhyana vasthita tad gatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. A yogi is one who always meditates on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santaha sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyama Sundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in the heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. The Bhakti Yogi constantly sees Shyama Sundar, beautiful Lord Krishna, with his blackish bodily hue. Because the king of the elephants, Gajendra, thought himself an ordinary animal, he thought himself unfit to see the Lord. In his humility, he thought that he could not practice yoga. In other words, how can those who are like animals in the bodily conception of life and who have no purity of consciousness practice yoga? In the present day, people have no control over their senses, who have no understanding of philosophy, and who do not follow religious principles or rules and regulations, are nonetheless pretending to be yogis. This is the greatest anomaly in the practice of mystic yoga. This is one of the many brilliantly articulated purports of Srila Prabhupada. In fact, every purport of Srila Prabhupada is illuminating like the sun. But there are some which hit more than others, especially those which are more prescriptive, more instruction-oriented for the devotees. So I want to just go line by line and comment on this purport. So I kindly request the devotees to pay all attention to this discussion of the purport, because Prabhupada is making so many brilliantly effulgent points here that we all can introspect. And after this purport is discussed, we will go into the verse. So first of all, Prabhupada is saying the king of elephants, Gajendra, simply accepted that there must be someone who has created this cosmic manifestation and has supplied its ingredients. This should be admitted by everyone, even the most determined atheists. So we see generally, to accept the lotus feet of Krishna, the greatest hurdle is argumentative mentality. To think that, who has seen this? Oh, who knows? Oh, how do we know? How is it possible? This argumentative mentality is the biggest stumbling block to accepting the feet of Krishna. There is one kind of Maya which stops us from accepting the feet of Krishna, but there is another kind of Maya. After we accept the feet of Krishna, it gives us pride about our devotion. That is also Maya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about these two Maya. But the first Maya which stops us from accepting the feet of Krishna is Tarka. Tarka apratishta shrutaya vivinna. The Mahabharata has described, by dry argument, we will not go anywhere. So the best way to test the principle of spiritual practice is you put it to practice. Prabhupada would always say that Krishna consciousness is a science. Science means you use the apparatus given and you put it to practice and check the observation. And then you conclude. Prabhupada said it is blind statements to say that, I will not accept this because God doesn't exist. Well, you try it. Science means you first try and then you conclude. Till the time you don't try, you don't say that decisively, you don't conclude, you don't opine. So the best thing is, Prabhupada said, you first try Krishna consciousness, which means you just forget everything and try chanting, let's say, 64 rounds for 6 months. Just an experiment. Just do these three things. Accept only prasad and don't eat anything else. And serve the Vaishnavas without criticizing them. Second, hear Hare Katha every day, morning and evening, and chant 64 rounds serving Tulsi. If these three things are done for 6 months, then let the person decide whether or not to accept. It is almost guaranteed Krishna will steal that person's heart in less than 6 months. Even if later the person falls into bad company, he will still run out of that and take shelter of Krishna, because the juice he will get. So where is the point of argument here? You just put it to practice. There's no money. There are no rules. There's nothing else. You don't have to accept anything else. Just do this. If we put, Prabhupada would say this, you just put this to practice. For 6 months you practice Krishna consciousness. You just wake up with us and chant the holy name and circumambulate Tulsi and hear Bhagavatam in the morning and Gita in the evening and follow Ekadashi Vrat. Don't ask anything. Don't argue. Just for 6 months you do it. And then you see what happens. Automatically, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchanai sarvai gunais tatra samasate sura hara bhaktasya kuto mahad guna manorathena asati dhavato bhahi. The Bhagavatam is literally proclaiming like the sun that you just do this and you see. How is it possible that Krishna will not steal your heart? But most of them who say God doesn't exist, spiritual life is all simply some show business, it is not true. This is just not scientific, because without using it in practical implementation, we are rejecting. Krishna Naam, Krishna Gun, Krishna Lila Vrinda, Krishnera Swarupa Sama Sabasidananda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Varanasi would say this, that the name of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, the form of Krishna, Sab Chit Ananda, it's all filled with happiness. So why will it not attract anybody's heart? Tara seva vina jiver na yae samsar, tahara charane priti purushartha sar, mokshadi ananda jar, nahi ekakan, purnananda prapti tar charana sevan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even when he spoke to the saintly Muslim in the Madhya Lila, he said, Tara seva vina jiver na jaye samsar. Samsar you cannot cross samsar without Tara seva vina, without serving Krishna. Tahara charana priti purushartha sar. Just being attached to the feet of Sri Hari is the essence of all happiness. Mokshadi ananda jar nahi eko karn. Even the happiness of getting liberated doesn't come close to one atomic particle of the happiness of serving Krishna. Purnananda prapti tara charana sevan. So these are the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are the teachings of Chaitanya. But however, everyone will not take it. Everyone will not take it. Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, Koti jnani madhye hai eka jana mukta. Koti mukta madhye durlabha eka Krishna bhakta. Krishna bhakta nishkam athaeva shanta. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakali ashanta. Chaitanya Charitamrita has given philosophy with such simple poetic expression. Koti jnani madhye jai eka jana mukta. Out of crores and crores of knowledgeable transcendentalists, one becomes liberated. But Koti Mukta Madhye Durlabha Eka Krishna Bhakta. Out of so many liberated personalities, one becomes Bhakta. Muktanam api siddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudurlabha Prashantatma Kotishwapi Mahamune. Out of millions and billions of people, 6th canto describes, one person becomes Krishna Bhakta. It is very rare. Very, very rare. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. 7th chapter Gita, Krishna is saying the same thing. It's very, very rare. And Prabhupada here logically flows in the purport to say why it is rare. Why people don't accept. He says the reason is they're polluted by the reactions of their past activities. We have committed sins in our past, and our consciousness now is going to bear all those reactions. And naturally, heart has become so contaminated that we are not able to appreciate, surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. So therefore, when sometimes some Matajis who come and say, that, oh Mataji, oh Prabhuji, I don't know much, but whatever you're saying, I'm accepting, and I am finding happiness in the path of bhakti. Actually, such Matajis are very, very glorious. Sometimes you see some Prabhujis come and they argue for like 6 months, 8 months. They will come to the Bhakti Vriksha and not following, but 6 months just arguing. How do you know this? How is it possible? Have you seen it? Without seeing, how do you know? Who has seen it? What is the proof that what they are saying is correct? But you will see their wife, on the other hand, will come and very quickly she will put tilak and kanthimala and start chanting. So therefore, it is actually a very great thing, to not argue and directly accept the process of bhakti is a matter of great fortune. But those who are very crooked in their consciousness, they find it difficult. So Prabhupada says, first of all, to become fixed up in bhakti or to accept with complete conviction, this dirt must be kicked out of the heart. This must be washed off. Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. By chanting the holy name, by chanting the names of Krishna, the heart will be completely cleansed. Sriman Mahaprabhu, our most merciful Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, never gave any book in this world, but just left 8 verses. And in those 8 verses of the Shiksha Ashtakam, the first verse starts off with Chaito Darpana Marjanam, clean the mirror of the heart. And the last phrase of that verse is Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So by chanting the holy name continuously, the mirror of one's heart will be completely washed off. This is very, very important. Apanna samsritim ghoram yan nama vivasho grinan tato sadhya vimuchyeta yat bhiveti swayam bhayam. Bhagavatam describes that apanna samsritim ghoram, this, we are stuck in such a complicated mesh of repeated birth and death. Yan nama vivasho grinan. But if we somehow accidentally call out the name of Sri Hari, even unconsciously, tata sadhya vimuchyeta, immediately we get liberated. Yat bibheti swayam bhayam. Even fear fears the lotus feet of Sri Hari. So his name, if it is chanted loudly, continuously, as much as possible. You see, when the fever is high, the dosage must be increased. If we are having, the illness is not coming down, the symptoms of the illness, the fever is not coming down, then we can't just have some pediatric dosage. We need to increase it, right? So therefore we have to chant more and we have to remember Sri Krishna with intensity. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So therefore, here Prabhupada is saying, when we take up to strict practice of bhakti, then rajas and tamas will be destroyed in the heart. Rajas and tamas will be destroyed. Tada rajas tamo bhavaha kama lobhadayaschaye. This is the famous set of verses from the first canto, 2nd chapter. Prabhupada found them so important and essential that he included them in his Markane Bhagavad Dharma song. Prabhupada wrote the song to Krishna, begging for empowerment and praying for shelter, teaching us how helpless call is like. And there Prabhupada includes these 5 verses. That by performing bhakti, lust and anger and greed will all be destroyed from the heart. And when the heart becomes substantially cleansed, then there is no question of doubt. At that time, all the doubt kicked out. There's no place, because the heart is filled with the remembrance of Radha and Krishna, and they expand. They in as a needle, out as a plow. They come in as one thought, and they expand in the heart. And all day and night, the person is just thinking of Radha and Krishna. So where is the time for any doubt? But for that, one cannot just chant Hare Krishna and get successful. Prabhupada then, from the paragraph of nowadays, there are so many. From there, Prabhupada talks about the biggest pitfall which can hinder our path of bhajan. We can chant all our life and hear about Krishna all our life. But if we are not taking care of this one thing, then the success is little hindered. Nishiddhachar kutinati jiva himsana labha puja pratisthadi jata upashakha gana. In the 19th chapter, while speaking to Rup Goswami, our Sriman Mahaprabhu says the same thing. When one is having kutinati, one is having cheating propensity in the form of lusty desires. This is one thing Prabhupada is telling us to beware of. Prabhupada says nowadays there are so many yoga schools encouraging people developing their lusty desire. So if we feed our we feed the fulfillment of our genitals by unrestricted sexual activity, then we are not going anywhere in our path of bhakti. It is almost impossible. Therefore, this is why Srimad Bhagavatam, throughout a cross-section of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami speaks about keeping away from lusty, fulfillment of lusty, inner lusty, propelling or propensity or pushing, vega. You see? You see in Canto 4, Chapter 8, Text 65, this has been described as a great obstacle and stumbling block. Canto 4, Chapter 8, Text 65. Then you see Canto 11, Chapter 26, Text 12. Then you see Canto 11, Chapter 14, Text 29 and 30. Canto 7, Chapter 6, Text 11, 12, 13. Canto 7, Chapter 14, Text 12 and 13. Canto 9, chapter 11, text 17. Canto 9, chapter 14, text 36, 37, 38. Canto 9, chapter 19, text 13 and 14. Canto 7, chapter 9, text 45. Canto 3, chapter 31, text 32 to 42. Canto 11, chapter 8, text 13. How many places Srimad Bhagavatam has said the same thing? Same thing. Canto 8, chapter 9, text 9. Canto 6, chapter 18, text 42. So whether it is Canto 1 or Canto 12, continuously this one theme, this one thread has gone through the 12 cantos to stop feeding the mad, lusty elephant in our head. So Prabhupada says if that is taken care and one chants the holy name and serves the Vaishnavas, performs bhakti, then the heart gets cleansed. And when the heart gets cleansed, then all the doubts are kicked out. This is the theme of the purport. And then Prabhupada says, when that happens, then what happens? Sadhus see Krishna in their heart. They're able to see Krishna. Santa, this is why Prabhupada includes the Brahma Samhita. You see, this one purport is enough to take us back home, back to Godhead, if we wake up to the call that Prabhupada is giving. One purport. So, look at we read it, but the logical flow of devotional urgency is sometimes not spotted. So here in the Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena verse, Prabhupada, he says that those who follow this path and their heart is substantially cleansed, Krishna enters that heart. Because we cannot have improper sense gratification, sense indulgence, and then with a very restless mind say that I am going to be happy. It is almost impossible. To get Krishna, the mind must be at his feet. And for the mind to be completely at the lotus feet of Krishna, the mind should not go anywhere else. And for the fickle nature of the mind to not go anywhere else is unusual. So therefore we have to, as Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj says, we have a good dog inside and we have a bad dog inside. And we should make sure that the good dog is fed and the bad dog is starving. So that the bad dog forgets to bark and leaves his body. So those who see Krishna in their heart, they see Shama Sundara, Yam Shama Sundaram Achinte Gunaswarupam. They see Krishna as Radharamana, the Lord of Radharani, in their heart. You see, when we go to Vrindavan, oftentimes we think that Vrindavan is the Sthana Tirtha. This is a place to be seen with the eyes. But actually this meat ball that we have, this eyes is actually ball made of meat. This eyes that we have, it's a meat ball. With this meat ball, ball of flesh, we cannot see the dham. Impossible. Impossible. But we still think, oh, I have seen Brahmanda Ghat. Oh, I have seen Keshi Ghat. Oh, I am seeing how dirty this place is. This is what this is what we think. But the monkeys of Vrindavan, they come and steal our spectacles. Why? To teach us that we cannot see the dham with our eyes. So when the spectacles are stolen by the monkeys, we go blind, which means we have to depend on what we are hearing. We can't even see the deity. So the monkeys of Vrindavan are teaching us, see the dham through the heart, by hearing through the ear. But we can see the dham through our eyes. This is why the monkeys are stealing our chashma, our spectacle. So Prabhupada is making the same point here. And then finally Prabhupada concludes that therefore yoga means to control one's senses, to have deep understanding of philosophy, to follow the rules of spiritual practice. And this is the practice of bhakti. Why Prabhupada is focusing so much on yoga? Because in this text, 27 text, Gajendra is using the word yoga so many times. He says, yoga randhita karamano, ridhi yoga vibhavite, yoginoyam prapashyanti, yoga isham tam natosmyaham. So the word yoga has been used 4 times. Therefore, Prabhupada has focused the whole purport on yoga. So such an instructive purport, you see, such an instructive purport. So now let's go to the Sanskrit text. Yoga randhita karmano. What does this mean? Yoga means bhakti yoga here. And randhita karmano. Randhita basically means to burn, to destroy. And karmanaha, reactions. When our sinning tendency and sinful reactions get burnt down by bhakti yoga, by very sincere and strong practice of bhajan, Then what happens? Ridhi yoga vibhavite. The Lord appears in the heart because the heart has become very clean. And yoginaha, at that time all the yogis, prapashyanti, they see the Supreme Lord very clearly in their heart. Why the word prapashyanti? The word pashyanti means to see. And pra means in a very special way. So this means they are seeing through the heart. So when one closes one's eyes and one is chanting the holy name in great intensity of spiritual practice, one can see Radha and Krishna playing in the Vrindavan of one's heart. One can see that. One is experiencing by Krishna's inconceivable arrangement. This is what Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj used to say. I have no practical experience of that, but Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, from his standpoint of purity and mercy, used to say that when one is chanting the pure name, one will have darshan of Krishna, spurti of Krishna, sakshat darshan of Krishna in the heart. Sakshat darshan of Krishna in the heart. And propashanti. At that time, all the doubts are gone. Whether Krishna exists. Is he God? Does he have a form? Is he formless? What color complexion is he? What kind of voice does Krishna have? How is Krishna's flute sound? All of this is realized by Guru Kripa and Nam Sankirtan. Like that. So when that happens, the Supreme Lord is established in the heart, and therefore he is called Yoga Isha. Yogesha means the Lord of Yoga, the fruit, the final fruit of yoga. Tam natosmyaham. Gajendra says, to that Supreme Lord, I offer my obeisances. So we see in the Sundarkand of Ramayana, when Hanuman gets bound up, a Brahmastra is shot by Meghnad, and Hanuman gets bound up, and Hanuman is got into the assembly of Ravana. At that time, it has been described that, so this is not in the Valmiki Ramayana, what I'm about to say, but this is found in the Tulsi Ramayana, where it is mentioned how Mother Parvati, she gets bewildered, how a great devotee like Hanuman is bound up by the ropes of Meghnad. How is it possible? Hanuman is such a great devotee. How can he be bound? So at that time, Lord Shiva tells Mother Parvati that chanting the name of Ram destroys the ropes of repeated birth and death, destroys and cuts the ropes of reactions, bad, sinful reactions. How is it possible that the name of Ram which destroys, the servant of that Ram, Hanuman, can be bound? This is impossible. So therefore, Hanuman got bound because he wanted to get bound. He wanted to get bound because he wanted to come and see who this Ravan is. And he wanted to give some advice to Ravana. So therefore, because Hanuman agreed to be bound, this happened. Otherwise, by chanting the holy name of Ram, the shackles of birth and death are broken. What ordinary rope what Brahmastra can bind the servant of that exalted Ram? So therefore, Yoga Randhita Karmano. Karmani nirdhati kintu ja bhakti bhajam. Brahma Samhita also says the same thing. By performing bhajan, by chanting the holy name and being very, very fixed up in our path of bhajan, then all reactions will be burned down. We don't have to worry. Things that we have done in the past to any Vaishnav, any Jiva, we may have eaten meat, we may have had illicit relationships, we may have made so many mistakes. But if we repent and cry and weep that we have made those mistakes, never repeat them again, and continuously chant Krishna's name in helplessness, Krishna, please save me. Oh, then Krishna will definitely shower mercy. But when we don't repent for what we have done, and then we keep repeating it again, and we don't do enough bhajan, that's when bhajan means nam bhajan, that's when we are implicated. So we should identify what are the things we are going wrong in and cry in front of Krishna that I have made these mistakes. Please forgive me, my Lord. I am the most fallen. I am abominable. I am very sinful. The devotees whom I am with, they don't know how sinful I am. Everyone, all of us, we should think like that. And we should never repeat them. And we should chant more. We should chant more. Devotees who are coming from very nice background, who have been very saintly, who have not committed any sin, who have been devotees, who have been following regulations, they chanting 16 rounds, they will dance their way back home, back to Godhead, because they are following Prabhupada properly, perfectly. But but we are having our shortcomings. We have made mistakes. We are not following all of the instructions of Prabhupada perfectly. Therefore, we must have high dosage of Harinam. Those who are chanting 16, we can chant 32. And we are chanting 32, we can chant more, 48. And many are chanting even 64 during the lockdown. So we have to take this process very seriously. Yoga randhita karmana. My Lord, through my thought process, I have criticized so many devotees. So many. So many such examples are there. In the interest of time, I don't want to get into them right now. But Shastra has spoken so many examples. Like classic example, Gadadhar Pandit and Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Let's think about this. Where are we even close to Gadadhar Pandit's purity? But there are so many devotees like Pundarik Vidyanidhi around in disguise. And Gadadhar Pandit just thought in his mind, and he was not happy to have darshan. But we don't just think, we express and vocalize our thought process. So we have made so many mistakes. We are dipped in Vaishnava Aparad, dipped in Dhama Aparad. We go to the Dham and we get angry. And we negotiate on the prices with the rickshaw fellow in Vrindavan and fight very abusively. And sometimes even we criticize devotees in yatras. During the month of Kartik also, and then we give excuses also that, I did this because we have a list of excuses. And chanting Harinam also, we are not fixed. We are not even regulated in our waking up early and giving ourselves at the lotus feet of Sri Hari. The only thing my mind wants to think about is proper prasad at the right time. But Baba, what bhajan you are doing that day for proper prasad? We want to feed our belly, but what about feeding the heart? What about feeding the soul to get Sri Hari? So many people are dying because of COVID-19. How precarious life is. I got this message that the owner of Joy Alukas, the chain of jewelry stores, mainly in Kerala and so many other places also, he built this palatial house, a mansion, almost up to 45 or 50,000 square feet. And unfortunately, my heartfelt condolences to his well-wishing family and friends and relatives. But unfortunately, this one virus, this one COVID-19, this one coronavirus is unfortunately the reason for his departure, untimely early departure. I got to know that one Bollywood actor, he died, very famous, he died out of cancer, hardly in early 50s. So we are living in a generation where even to live 50, 60 years is considered to be having a long life. So we need to really, really intensify. Therefore here, text 27, Yoga Randhita Karamana, by connecting with Krishna, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, with intensity, with no other thing. Krishna, I put my hand up in the air and I tell you, even if my senses demand and my mind goes crazy and I ask you for things which are not good for me, Krishna, please don't fulfill them. I want you. I have suffered in this material world enough. I have taken so many forms and again, so many circumstances, so many set of parents. I am still not realizing, I am still a rascal. Krishna, please help me. I have no one except you. And in this mood, crying and weeping, then the heart becomes completely cleansed by bhajan, by the intensity of that bhajan. And then, when that clean heart, Hridhi Yoga Vibhavite, Yoginoyam Prapashyanti, we can see Krishna in our heart. So this is the essence of text 27. His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, in his book called as The Living Name, gives a very, very beautiful story, which I want to share here. One time there was a sadhu in Nandagram Nandagram is the place for Sakhya Leela, friendship pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. Before that, just give me a few seconds because this phone is running out of charge. I'll just put it for charge and resume the story. So just please hold on for a few seconds as I get my charger to charge up this phone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, plugged in. You see, the phone is teaching us. The phone is teaching us. If we die out of charge, we become useless. So we need to charge up and be connected to this to the socket. So we are all like that. Our spiritual batteries are dying every day, and we need to charge up with intensity. So there was this sadhu living in Nandagram. Nandagram is the home of Krishna and Balaram, the place of Sakhya Leelas. As Varshana Dham is the place for Radharani's worship, Nandagram is the Sakhya Leela, friendship pastimes. So one very dear superior of mine from Perth, Australia, Amarendra prabhu, he shared with me this story yesterday, and I thought this was so brilliant that I want to share it with all the devotees here in the context of intense bhajan. And this comes from the book by His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj titled The Living Name. So there was this sadhu in Nandagram who lived all his life in Nandagram doing bhajan, worshipping Krishna and Balaram. Krishna and Balaram were his life and soul. Navajala Shashi Varnau, Gopavesho, Kishoro, Sahachara Gana Vrindaihi, Kridamano, Vrajesho, Natavara Jitavesho, Nila Pitambaradhyau, Jagata Janana Hetau, Rama Krishna Natosmi. It's a very nice pranam mantra for Krishna and Balaram. So he was worshipping Krishna Balaram as his pranadhan. Krishna Balaram Jai, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram Jai, Krishna Balaram, Yashoda Rohini Dhana Krishna Balaram, Yashoda Rohini Dhana Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram Jai, Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Yashoda Rohini Dhana, Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Yashoda Rohini Dhana, Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Yashoda Rohini Dhana, Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram. So in this way he would cry and chant for the pleasure of Krishna Balaram. And he had very sweet, beautiful Krishna Balaram deities. So all his life he lived there in Nandagram, worshipping Krishna Balaram. But as he grew old, oh, that's some thundering and lightning there. That's the sound out there. Okay. So Indra Bhagavan is very happy hearing the story of Krishna Balaram. I hope he's not going in and setting in for a Govardhan Leela here. So anyway, so this sadhu worshipped Krishna Balaram all his life with so much love. But then towards the end of his life, as he became old, his eyes lost the power to see and he became partially blind. And he developed tremors in his hands. He lost the power to hear and he was finding it difficult to walk around. So at that time, as he was serving Krishna Balaram, one day, he just put all the paraphernalia to the side. And he chastised his Krishna Balaram. He said, all my life I have been serving you, Krishna Balaram. But never have you even once spoken to me. You are standing here. Krishna, look at you with one hand. With your right hand, you're holding a flute. And with your left hand, you're holding your waist. You're standing with so much elegance. And Balaram, with one hand you're keeping your left hand on the shoulder of Krishna, and with the right hand you're holding a plow or you're holding a club, and you're smiling. And all my life I have given you anna, I have given you bhoga, I have fed you so well, Krishna Balaram. I have dressed you, I have garlanded you, made garland with my own hands. I have given you bath, I have put you to sleep, I wake you, I sing for you, I remember you. But not once you speak to me. How can you be so hard-hearted? Why can't you not speak to me? This old man has given up everyone in this world except you. And still, you give me up and you never speak to me. You give up on my case. Why are you so hard-hearted? Going through the rocks of Govardhan, your heart has also become a rock. He was chastising his Krishna Balaram boys like that. And what did he do? He dropped everything and he said, I am leaving both of you. You take care of yourself. You are so happy treating me like this in a heartless manner. I am going to Barsana Dham. I am leaving Nandagram. I am going to Barsana. Acha, why I am going to Barsana? Because I have heard Srimati Radharani is very merciful. So enough of Krishna Balaram. I am not worshipping Krishna Balaram anymore. Only Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. He dropped everything. He dropped the Aarti plate. He kept it to the side. All the books describing the pastimes of Krishna Balaram, he kept it to the side. And the deities of Krishna Balaram, he kept it in his kutir. And he got up. And he started walking towards Barsana Dham. And this news spread like a wildfire in Nandagram. So all the Brajbasis, they came running. Hey Baba, where are you going? Why are you leaving Krishna Balaram? Why are you leaving us? Why are you leaving Nandagram? And he said, leaving whom? They said, Krishna Balaram. He said, who? They said, Krishna Balaram. He said, I can't hear those two words. I have nothing to do with these two boys. They don't take care of me. They don't even talk to me. They don't reciprocate with me. I have given my life to them. They never speak to me. So he had so much love and attachment to Krishna Balaram that he told the Brajbasis, I am leaving Nandagram. I am never coming here again. I am going to Barsana. Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Radharani ki jai, Maharani ki jai, Vrishabhanu Nandini ki jai. I have heard Radharani is very merciful. So enough of Krishna Balaram. I am going to Radharani. So all the Brajbasis followed this Baba. And little Brajbasi kids, they were so used to seeing this Baba in Nandagram. They were also running, holding his dhoti. Baba, please don't go. Baba, please don't go. And the Brajbasis were saying, Baba, please come back. What will happen to Krishna Balaram if you leave? Then Baba turned and in a very angry tone, he said, you all take care of Krishna Balaram. And then when you're frustrated, you'll come to me and say, yeah, these two boys, they don't care for their worshippers. So let them feed themselves. They're anyway used to stealing, breaking pots and stealing. Let Krishna Balaram eat on their own. So this Baba started chastising. And please don't misunderstand the mood of this sadhu. He is so deeply attached to Krishna Balaram. They are his pranadhana. So then he is feeling neglected because of his longing, his love and attachment reaching the boiling point. Way beyond any more enthusiasm or eagerness. So then Brajbasi said, what will happen to Krishna Balaram? They said, they will take care of themselves, or you take care of them. I don't care. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear these two words, Krishna and Balaram again. I have nothing to do with them. Started walking, and the Brajbasis were all sitting there crying, oh Baba, don't leave Nandagram, don't leave Nandagram. And Baba started walking, and all these children, Brajbasi children, they started walking behind Baba. Baba, please don't go. Baba, please don't go. And as he stepped out of Nandagram, the boys also followed. And at one point it so happened, the Baba was so annoyed that these boys were not leaving, because they were saying, please take care of Krishna Balaram, please take care of Krishna Balaram. So Baba turned at one point and he saw, oh, who are these boys? Madhumangal, Mandali Badra, Subal, Sridham, Krishna, Balaram, Ujjwal, Lavanga, Arjun Sakha, all of these friends of Krishna. They are all standing. And on one side is this dark complexioned boy Krishna, and on the other side is the fair complexioned Balaram. And Baba is looking at these boys. And Balaram came and held the left hand of Baba. And Krishna came and held the right hand and said, you cannot leave us. We have no one except you. We have grown in age. Therefore Nanda and Yashoda and Rohini Devi, They don't treat us as babies anymore. They give us independence. But Baba, only you in the whole world give us so much pampering as if we were children. You feed us on time. You sing songs for us. You put us to sleep. You dress us up. You ornament us. You garland us. And you are anointing us with fragrant oil. Baba, you love us so much. Without you, we have nowhere to go. We have no one. And Baba looked at Krishna Balaram with tears and said, do you also love me as much as I love both of you? And Krishna Balaram said, no, we love you more than how much you can love. And Baba fell to the ground unconscious with tears, looking at Krishna and Balaram. And that was it. He left his body in happiness that Krishna and Balaram had accepted him in the eternal pastimes of Krishna Balaram in Nandagram. So His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj quotes this story. So this is the intensity where we want nothing in this world except Sri Hari. Hey Krishna Balaram, apart from you I want nothing. I don't want anyone. Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram, Yashoda Rohini Dhana, Jai Krishna Balaram, 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 Yashoda Rohini Dhana, Jai Krishna Balaram, Yashoda Rohini Dhana, Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jai 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 Krishna Balaram, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. So in this way, Gajendra is saying in this verse, Yoga Randhita Karmano Riddhi Yoga Vibhavite, when we have so much intensity to get the Supreme Lord, then Karmani Nirdhati Kintucha Bhakti Bhajam, all the sinful reactions get burnt in the heart becomes the sitting place for the Lord, Riddhi Yoga Vibhavite, the Lord sits, and Yogina Yam Prapashyanti, one can see the Lord face to face, Yogesham Tam Natosmyaham, oh my Lord, I bow down to that Supreme Hari. This is what Gajendra is saying. Text 28. Namo namastu bhyamasahya vega shakti trayaya akhiladhi gunaya prapanna palaya duranta shaktaye kadindriyana manavapya vartmane. Translation. My Lord, you are the controller of formidable strength in three kinds of energy. You appear as the reservoir of all sense pleasure and the protector of the surrendered souls. You possess unlimited energy, but you are unapproachable by those who are unable to control their senses. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Purport by Prabhupada, attachment, greed and lust are three formidable forces that prevent one from concentrating upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. These forces act because the Supreme Lord does not like to be realized by non-devotees and atheists. However, when one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, these impediments are withdrawn and one can realize the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Lord is the protector of the surrendered soul, which is Prapannapala. One cannot become a devotee unless one surrenders to the Lord's lotus feet. Then the Lord gives one the intelligence from within by which one can return back to the spiritual world. So here, Namo Namaha Tubhyam, I bow down to you, says Gajendra, Asahya Vega. Your Shakti Trayaya, Traya means three, and Shakti means energies. So Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. These three energies, Asahya Vega, they create insurmountable urgency in the senses. And Akhila Dhi Gunaya, and at the same time, my Lord, your energy which is creating the inner pushing to enjoy, that same energy is also creating objects outside to enjoy. Akhila Dhi Gunaya. But my Lord, those devotees are glorious who tolerate the inner urge to enjoy. So Krishna is creating objects to enjoy. Krishna is giving us senses to enjoy. And inside the push to enjoy comes from Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, coming from the Supreme Lord. But Gajendra is saying that doesn't mean a pure devotee goes with the flow. That Krishna has given senses, Krishna has given the energy to enjoy, Krishna is pushing from within as sattva, rajas, tamas, and Krishna outside has given objects to enjoy. So let me just go with the flow. That is not how a devotee thinks. Therefore, prapanna palaya duranta shaktaye. Gajendra is saying that glorious are those who prapanna, who instead tolerate the inner urge to enjoy and take shelter of you. Because if someone doesn't do that and they go with the flow of enjoying, then kad indriyanam, their senses become impure and anavapya vartmane. As a result, they cannot get you. So the same point of not using our senses for enjoyment has been stressed here. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 18, Text 51, this verse includes the same phrase, kad indriyaihi, in the story of King Yayati. Devotees are encouraged to read this section. Evam varsha sahasrani mana sashthai manas sukham vidadhanopi na tripyat sarva bhauma kad indriyaihi. So Bhagavatam describes that although enjoyment, the sexual enjoyment was enjoyed by the king, varsha sahasrani, for thousands of years, still api na tripyat. He was still not satisfied. And what happened? His senses, kad indriyaihi. Only thing that happened was his senses became impure. And with these impure senses, we cannot approach the Supreme Lord. Atha Shri Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyaihi sevon mukhehi jivhado swayam eva spuratyada. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu describes with impure senses, we cannot hold the Supreme Lord. We cannot remember him. We cannot chant his name properly. We will chant 2-3 rounds and then no taste to chant. Why? Because the senses are impure. When the senses get purified, we cannot stop chanting. But what is the way to become purified? Just like when we walk on the floor and we fall to the ground, we get up by holding the ground, says Harinam Chintamani. Similarly, when we have lost taste in chanting, we get up by holding the ground of chanting. So, even if we have no taste to chant, we should just chant. Kintu adarad anudinam, Upadeshamrit describes. Pittopatapta rasana. Rupa Goswami has described in Nectar of Instruction that even if we have no taste, we should continue chanting every day. Our senses which are impure will say don't chant. But we should say no to the senses and yes to chanting. Whatever is good, that we should continue doing more. And whatever is bad, that we should give up. Pratikulyasya varjanam. Then eventually we will get Krishna. Yontaha pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam sanjeeva yatya khila shakti dharasva dhamna anyamsta hasta charana shravana twag adin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. When Dhruva Maharaj approached the Supreme Lord, Canto 4, Chapter 9, Text 6, he says, Yo yaha antaha pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam. My Lord, when you touch me with your conch shell on my face, you touched my head with your conch shell, I feel some electric current went through my body. And I feel my senses till now were sleeping. They were busy enjoying this world. But now when you touched with your conch shell, an electric current has gone through my body. And sanjeeva yatya kila shakti dharasva dhamna. I feel as if all my senses have woken up to reality. Which senses? Anyamscha hasta. Hasta means hand. Anyamscha hasta charana, feet. Anyamscha hasta charana shravana. Twak. Shravana means ears and twak means skin. And prana, life. All these senses, including my life air, it seems as if they were sleeping in this world, enjoying the objects of this world. My Lord, but when devotional current has gone through my body, now I can see, oh, this is what the mind is supposed to do. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to hear with my ear. Till now, I was hearing criticism with my ear. Therefore, my ear had become the hole of a snake. But now when I hear the flute sound of Krishna with my ear hole, I feel, oh, this is what my ear is actually supposed to hear. When I see the form of Krishna in my mind, oh, till now I was thinking of all the lusty things of this world. But now I realize, oh, this is what my mind is meant for. And when I taste the nectar of the holy name, till now I was just happy tasting the nectar of the rasgulla. But now when I chant the holy name, oh, this is what the tongue is meant to taste. So it's as if all the senses are waking up. to reality. Prana namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Dhruv Maharaj is saying. So same point has been mentioned here by Gajendra, that with impure senses Krishna cannot be caught, but wherever we are, whatever situation we are, Krishna, I am yours, please accept me. This bhav should be there. I may be very sinful, but that doesn't mean I cannot approach Krishna. I should give up my sin and approach Krishna? No, just approach Krishna. He will help to remove the sin. Just like the child is dirty with stool and urine. Child doesn't think, let me clean myself and then go to the mother. No, just somehow go to the mother, she will clean. Because she loves me more than I can get impure. I can pass stool and urine and make my body impure and dirty. But my mother's love for me is way beyond my ability to pollute my body. So similarly, Krishna's love and his ability to purify us is way more than our ability to fall down in sinful activities. So therefore, Gajendra says, my Lord, whoever I am, however dirty I am approaching you, my Lord. I am crying as I am leaving my body. Please accept me. And in this way, last verse of Gajendra Stuti, Nayam Veda Swam Atmanam Yachaktyaham Dhiyahatam Tam Duratyaya Mahatmyam Bhagavantam Itosmyaham. Translation: I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose illusory energy the Jiva, who is part and parcel of God, forgets his real identity because of the bodily concept of life. I take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose glories are difficult to understand. So again here he is saying, Pranatosmi, Bhagavantam Itosmyaham, I bow down to you. Gajendra is making this point, my Lord, before I wanted to forget you and you helped me forget you. Now I want to remember you and surrender to you. Please help me. Matchitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi. Gita, 18th chapter. Krishna is saying, you just desire sincerely and you act. I will help you. Ultimately, it's not going to happen by my hard work. It is going to happen by Krishna's help. But Krishna will help only when I perform hard work. Otherwise, not possible. Mother Yashoda is so dear to Krishna. One time, Krishna, he looked at the reflection of the moon in the pot of water. There was a pot of water and he saw the reflection of moon there. And Krishna became determined. Oh Maya, I want this moon, I want this white moon, I want this white moon. Mother Yashoda thought, how I can give him white moon? So she put her hand into another pot which was filled with butter. And she removed one whole handful of butter which looked like that small moon in the reflection of water and gave it to Krishna. Krishna ate. And then he said, hey, but this is butter. I want moon. He understood that he was tricked by Mother Yashoda. So Mother Yashoda said, no, you cannot get the moon. Krishna said, no, I want the moon. So Mother Yashoda said, oh, do you know where the moon comes from? The moon comes from the ocean, milk ocean. But along with the moon, before the moon came in the churning of the milk ocean, the first person who came was poison. So because poison and moon both come from the same source, milk ocean is the mother and poison and moon are brothers. And because they are so close to each other, that is why some poison is always there on the moon. And this is why the white moon always has black spots. So Mother Yashoda cooked up a story like this to tell Krishna that Krishna, the moon has black spots because poison is the brother of the moon, because Visha, poison and moon, both came out of the churning of the milk ocean. So they're almost born of the womb of the same mother. And when Krishna got to know this, his eyes became filled with tears. He was very scared. Hair was standing on end in fear. And Mother Yashoda now looked into Krishna's eyes and said, Lala, now please tell me, do you want to eat that moon? Krishna hid behind Mother Yashoda's sari and said, no, Maya, even if you tell me to eat, I will not be able to eat. Now it has poison. I don't want. You just give me one more handful of butter. And Mother Yashoda chuckled and she gave him more butter. So Mother Yashoda is so dear to Krishna. She has so much love. But even when Maya had to bind Lala, had to run behind Krishna, she could perspire. She had to perspire and strive very, very hard. Therefore, the ninth chapter of the 10th canto describes Damodar Leela. There is a verse where it says, Drishtva parishramam Krishna kripayasit svabandhane. Drishtva, having seen parishramam, hard work, Krishna saw the hard work of Maya Yashoda And what happened? Kripaya asit swabandhane. Out of love, out of mercy, he agreed to be bound by his mother. So ultimately, Krishna has to agree. And we are doing all our sadhana so that he agrees. So here Gajendra is saying, my Lord, I am just trying to jump as high as I can in my prayers to get your attention. Aham dhiya, aham buddhi hatam. I am just agyani. I am less intelligent and I am an animal. Swam atmanam na veda. I don't know you. I don't know your position or prowess. You have ananta shakti. Yet shaktyaham dhiya hatam. Yet shaktya. Unlimited strength. But my Lord, I know only one thing. That I don't know anything. And I'm taking shelter of you. You please take care of me. The baby monkey is holding on to the mother when the mother jumps. You see, in Vrindavan, in Radhakund, early in the morning, when sun is rising, we are sitting on the banks of Radhakund and remembering Diksha mantras or chanting japa. You see the monkeys are jumping. At that time, the baby monkey is holding on to the mother. The mother is not holding. Baby monkey is holding. Sripad Ramanujacharya gives this example to say, what is better? Baby monkey holding on to the mother when the monkey jumps and having the fear that the baby monkey may fall into the water, or becoming a kitten where the kitten has to just do meow and the mother cat comes and lifts the kitten in the mouth, where there's no probability or possibility of a fall from the mouth of the mother. Which is better? He said, those who try to catch the Supreme Lord on the power of their ability are like baby monkeys trying to hold on to the mother. But sometimes when the mother jumps, the baby will fall. So there may be a fall down. But we devotees, Sripad Ramanujacharya says, we are like kittens. All that we have to do is meow, which means we will just call out to our mother. Lovingly we will call out, we'll chant the holy name and call out, Krishna, apart from you, I don't know anyone. I don't want to know anyone, Krishna, please accept me. And then Krishna, like the cat, will come and take the devotee like the kitten in the mouth of his mercy. And there's no fall down. So in this way, Gajendra is praying, my Lord, you please take care of me. Apart from you, I have nobody. Please kindly take care of me. So the mercy factor of the Supreme Lord is seen in this world in the form of great souls. We find it difficult to see the mercy of Krishna. However, when there is more bhajan, Krishna will give the eyes to see. That is what great souls are saying. In that hope, we are all chanting. We may not have direct experience at the moment, but great souls, they reveal that when bhajan increases, nam bhajan increases, our vision to see Krishna's mercy increases. But in the lack of that vision, at least we can see Krishna's mercy through the sadhus. You see, in the Gaudiya Math, there was a very great sadhu by the name Sripad Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj. So Sripad Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, when he was going for begging door to door on behalf of the Math, on behalf of his Gurudev, his Gurudev's name was Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtodara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj, direct god brother of our Prabhupada and disciple of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. So Madhav Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj's disciple, Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, when he went for begging door to door, he went to one place and the Mataji opened and she was actually cleaning the floor with a cloth. You see, traditionally in India, you sit down and you mop the floor with a cloth. So she was doing that and she saw Sadhu has come. So he said, Bhavati Bhikshandehi, please give me some alms for the mutt. So her husband came and said, oh, all these sadhus, they are good for nothing. They're only begging. They're not working a job. You want some alms? You want some madhukari? Okay, I will give you. And what did the husband do? He picked up that mopping cloth that she was using to mop the floor. He took that and threw it in the palms of Sripad Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj. You take this. You coming to beg? You be happy with this cloth. So Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj said, okay, whatever Krishna arranges, so be it. So he kept it in his begging cloth and he came home. He came to the mutt. Now Srila Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj, his Gurudev, was seeing what different disciples have got. And some have got fruits and vegetables and grains. And he asked Srila Tirtha Maharaj, what have you got? He said, oh, I have not got anything. He said, no, you may have got something. So he was very embarrassed. So Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj took this cloth and gave it to his Gurudev and said, this is the only thing I got. This is the mopping cloth. And the husband came and threw it into my hand and said, you take it. So now look at Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj's mercy, his Gurudev's mercy. Said, okay, no problem. He has given this. He did something which was inconceivable. He took that mopping cloth, he washed that mopping cloth completely, purified it, washed it, dried it, and he put Ganga Jal in it. So he purified the cloth, and now he cut small strips out of it, and he made it a ghee wick. He dipped it in ghee, and that Kartik Mas, he gave it to all the devotees to offer it to Thakurji. So everybody offered ghee lamp, by the lamp, ghee, by this wick which was made out of the strips of this cloth. And everyone was offering. And Bhakti-Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj said, remember, you're offering this because of the mercy of that person. That person gave this cloth, therefore you're able to offer. And he said, they may have given a fruit. You may eat that fruit and it's done. But he is so merciful. He has given such a big cloth. You can complete your whole Kartik Vrat with making wicks out of this and offering it to Thakurji. Believe it or not, in 3 days that man came and fell at the feet of Bhakti-Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj and at the feet of Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj and said, oh, please forgive me. I made such a grave offense. Sadhu came to my home and I threw this and I have committed aparadh. Please kindly accept me. And within 3 days, he took shelter and he took Diksha and started chanting Harinam. So how did that happen? So now by throwing that cloth in the hands of Srila Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Maharaj, he was not going anywhere with that Vaishnava aparadh. Krishna will never accept his service. But what did Srila Bhakti-Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj do? He took that opportunity to change it from Vaishnava aparadh to unlimited mercy. And he offered all that Kartik ghee lamp wicks in his name and increased his spiritual account and then gave him Diksha also. So in this way, Krishna is very merciful. Gajendra is saying Krishna is very, very merciful. My Lord, please accept me. But for us, on a practical front, Krishna's mercy can be seen through his pots of mercy in this world, moving in the form of sadhu. Janasya krishnat vimukhasya daivad adharmashilasu dukkhitasya anugrahayeha charanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardhanasya. The third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 5 describes Krishna is very merciful, but his mercy is seen in this world through great sadhus who are walking on the planet speaking Hare Katha and singing Hare Kirtan just to uplift the conditioned souls and taking them back to Krishna. This is why we see first there is Balaram appearance and then there is Krishna Janmashtami. Balaram appearance on Purnima and from that day onwards, 9 days later on Ashtami Tithi, Krishna is appearing. So why like that? Because first Balaram or Guru Tattva comes and he sets the scene. Why 9 days? Because 9 limbs of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. And at the end of Atmanivedanam, Krishna appears. So it is Guru, Baladev Prabhu, who appears first. And he cleans the womb of Devaki, which is the heart of the devotee, with his club and his plow. And then with 9 days, he gives Harikatha, how Shravan Bhakti, Kirtan Bhakti, Smaran Bhakti, where through 9 limbs of Bhakti, we can come to the stage of complete surrender. And then the Supreme Lord appears on Krishna Janmashtami. So similarly here, Gajendra, by the inconceivable mercy from previous life, Gajendra was actually King Indradyumna. But then he got cursed and this was inconceivable mercy. Because as King Indradyumna, he was performing deity worship. But his intensity was not very deep. To speed up the process, the intensity had to be heightened. And for that intensity to be heightened, he was cursed. And what that curse is, we will see from tomorrow. So the sadhu kripa that came in the life of Gajendra, that was increasing the speed, was accelerating the speed by which he got the darshan of Krishna. So at the end of 29 verses, the Supreme Lord appears to Gajendra and uplifts him in a very mysterious way. So what that upliftment is, that we will see from tomorrow. But for now, as promised yesterday, we have come to the systematic completion of all the verses, the study of all the verses of the prayers of Gajendra. So now in the next 10 minutes, for the next 10 minutes or so, we will chant all the 28 verses of the prayers of Gajendra. So I request all the devotees to kindly pull up Canto 8, Chapter 3, text 1 onwards. We will chant this whole prayer up to text 29. So please kindly keep your Srimad Bhagavatam open. And wherever you are in your homes, please kindly chant with us and offer your heart in the same way as Gajendra offered. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, text 1 onwards. Shri Badarayani Ruvacha Evam Vyavasito Buddhya Samadhaya Manoridhi Jajapa Paramam Japyam Pragjanmanyanusikshitam. Shri Gajendra Uvacha Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yata Etacchidatmakam Purushayadi Bijaya Pareshaya Bidhimahi Yasmin idam yataschedam yenedam ya idam swayam yosmat parasmat cha parah tam prapadhye swayam bhuvam yasvatmanidam nijamaya yarpitam kvachit vibhatam kvachatatirohitam aviddhadriksakshubhayam tadikshate sa atmamulo vatumam parat parah kalena panchatvamitešu krishnasho Lokeshu paleshu cha sarvahetushu tamastadasid gahanam gavhiram yastasya pare bhivirajate vibhuhu na yasya devarshaya padam vidu jantu punah korhati gantumiritum yatha natasya kritibhi vicheshtato duratyayanu kramanas samavatu didrikshavo yasya padam sumangalam Vimukta Sangha Munayassu Sadavah Charantya Loka Vritamavranam Vane Bhutatma Bhuta Suridas Same Gatihi Na Vidyate Yasya Cha Janma Karma Va Na Nama Rupe Gunadosha Eva Va Tathapi Lokapyaya Sambhavaya Yah Swamayaya Tanyanukalam Richati Tasmai nama pareshaya brahmane nantashaktaye arupayorurupaya nama ascharya karmane nama atma pradipaya sakshine paramatmane namo giram viduraya manashaschetasamapi satvena pratilabhyaya naishkarmyena vipaschita namah kaivalyanathaya nirvana sukhasamvide Namah Shantaya Ghoraya Mudhaya Gunadharmine Nirvisheshaya Samyaya Namo Jnana Ghanaya Cha Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushayatma Mulaya Mula Prakritaye Namah Sarvendriya Gunadrashtre Sarva Pratyaya Hetave Asatachaya Yoktaya Sadabhasaya Te Namah Namo namaste khilakaranaya nishkaranaya bhutakaranaya sarvagamamnaya maharnavaya namo pavargaya parayanaya Gunarani channa chidushmapaya tatkshobha vispurjita manasaya Naishkarmya bhave na vivarjitagama swayam prakashaya namaskaromi madrik prapanna pashupasha vimokshanaya muktaya bhuri karunaya namo layaya swamshena sarvatanubhrin manasi pratita pratyak drushe bhagavate brihate namaste atmatmajapta grihavitta janeshu saktaihi dushprapanaya gunasanga vivarjitaya मुक्तात्मभिस्वहृदये परिभाविताय ज्ञानात्मने भगवते नम ईश्वराय यम धर्म कामार्थ विमुक्ति कामा भजन्त इष्टां गतिमाप्नुवन्ति किं चाशिशोरात्यपि देहमव्ययं करोतु मे दभ्रदयो विमोक्षणम् एकान्तिनो यस्य न कञ्चनार्थं वाञ्छन्ति ये वै भगवत्प्रपन्नाः अत्यद्भुतं तच्चरितं सुमङ्गलं गायन्त आनन्द समुद्रमग्नाः तम् अक्षरं ब्रह्म परं परेशम् Did I miss? Yastamaksharam brahma param paresham avyaktamadhyatmika yoga gamyam atindriyam sukshmamivati duram anantamadhyam paripurnamide yasya brahmadayo devaha veda lokascharacharaha namarupa vibhedena phalvyacha kalaya kritaha यथार्चिषोऽग्ने सवितुर्गभस्तयो निर्यान्ति संयान्ति सकृत्स्वरोचिषः तथा यतोऽयं गुणसम्प्रवाहो बुद्धिमनखान्यशरीरसर्गाः स वै न देवासुरमर्त्यतिर्यन् न स्त्री न षण्डो न पुमान् न जन्तुः नायं गुणकर्म न चन्न चासन् निषेधशेषो जयतादशेषः जिजीविषेनाहमिहामुया किम् अन्तर्बहिश्चावृतये भयोन्या इच्छामि कालेन न यस्य विप्लवः तस्यात्मलोकावरणस्य मोक्षं सोऽहं विश्वसृजं विश्वम् अविश्वं विश्ववेधसं विश्वात्मानम् अजं ब्रह्म प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदं योगरन्धितकर्माणो हृदि योगविभाविते योगिनो यं प्रपश्यन्ति योगेशं तं नतोऽस्म्यहं नमो नमस्तुभ्यमसह्यवेगशक्तित्रयायाखिलधिगुणाय प्रपन्नपालाय दुरन्तशक्तये कदिन्द्रियाणाम् अनवाप्य वर्त्मने नायं वेदस्वमात्मानं यच्छक्त्याहं धिया हतं तं दुरत्ययमाहात्म्यं भगवन्तम् इतोऽस्म्यहम्। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So this was the Gajendra Stuti that we can chant in less than 10 minutes. Every day we can chant. It is so blissful, so purifying. All 28 verses can be chanted. Even while bathing, we can chant. You can apply soap and shampoo and just keep chanting. So in this way, we can time our bathing also. Like in less than 10 minutes, I have to bathe, etc. So like that we can do. Gajendra chanted this in water and got the Supreme Lord. So we also can be in water. Instead of being in the pond, we can be under the shower. And we can chant the Gajendra Stuti. And we can hope and pray that the Supreme Lord accepts our offering and accepts us in his fold of affectionate associates. So having said that, I really want to thank all the devotees for kindly joining in today. It's not the end of the story because we have a few more sessions to go to understand the past life of Gajendra, the past life of the crocodile. More lessons, more instructions, more prescriptions coming from Srila Prabhupada's purports. So please kindly stay tuned. Tomorrow again, the 30th of April, for all of us here in North America, Thursday, 30th of April, from 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time, again on Facebook. We meet again to keep our discussions going. We'll have a class on Thursday and Friday, and then as usual, we take a break on Saturday and Sunday because we have other classes, and then we continue again from Monday. I really want to thank all the devotees for so attentively, systematically attending every single day. Close to 100 devotees attending. It's been 35 sessions. I offer my obeisances to all of you for kindly inspiring by your auspicious, constant, dedicated presence. This is really very, very transcendently inspiring and contagious. I offer my obeisances to all of you and can't wait to meet another session tomorrow. Same time, same place, same story, but with a twist. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki